Everybody, it's time for my favorite part of the show: rugged, ruined, and wrecked. Every time I hear that song to introduce this show, I love it. I love every second of it. And as I tell you every time, it makes me laugh just knowing what's coming. What's coming. And as I always say, though, I laugh about the rugs, ruins, and wrecks. But we always try to take something away from it and learn a little lesson and learn why those projects got ruined, rugged, or wrecked. So you can learn in the future to stay away from similar programs. And we got them all today. We've got 3 good examples, one of which happened today, the date of this recording. And so let's get to it. Project called SafeEarn started last year. Started doing pretty well, and it started accelerating pretty well and gaining reputation and money in the contracts and all that, and they were paying out rewards. I forget the exact SafeEarn reward scheme, but it was basically get to choose your certain types of rewards. And they had a problem. The problem with SafeMoon, I don't know what it was, but they didn't want to go forth with them, and they wanted a new contract as a result. And so they did. They made a new contract. EARNHUB upgrade, a launch imminent. It's coming. So they switched. Their project, moved the LP, of which everyone claimed the original SafeEarn was a rug, but it was just them moving the LP, just like version 1 to version 2, things like that. They had a nice launch. This is a classic example of a great launch. Not botted up, good buying pressure, and then no dump afterwards. And this little sell-off here, that's probably the swap lift prior to contract selling or something like that. Great launch. Got to give them props for that. And then following a long period of consolidation and back and forth trading, a lot of staking going on, people earning their rewards in a staking contract, and this is fine. This is good. It's what people want to see, consistency. It's all good. What they don't want to see is this. It was going along fine, and then all the money got taken out of the contract today. Today, all of a sudden on Telegram and on Twitter, the following message goes around. Astro is the lead dev, or one of the lead people with EARNHUB. The staking pools have been compromised. Somebody was able to exploit our contracts and steal most of the tokens. They then dumped them all at the same time. We're looking at this, and we'll share details. Well, the details are pretty simple with this one. It went to zero, and everyone lost their money. I don't think there's going to be any recovery from this one. This is a bad one, and a lot of people lost a lot of money because it was a good team. The EARNHUB team was good, and but they had a problem in their contract, which is common. Quite common on BSC contracts to have problems in your contract. And remember, all of these contracts are out in the open, so there's hackers every day trying to figure out what's wrong with them. The urgent alert. DeFi Cody just comes out and says, God, I feel so sick to my stomach. 6 months and I eat, breathe, and sleep. EARNHUB, SafeEarn. Many nights I only got 2 hours sleep fighting for EARNHUB and SafeEarn. I'm so sick to my stomach. I'm sorry to anyone who has ever bought because of me. I didn't know it would end like this. They all end like this. This is how all the staking farms end. Most of them are mirrors of each other. Copies. Someone writes a decent one, puts it up on GitHub, puts it out on the chain. Everyone copies it. And so when one of them gets hacked, they all quickly go down the line. That's why you see when one of them get hacked, a bunch of them will quickly switch to version 2, 3, 4, whatever But the hackers, they find it. They find it. And unfortunately for DeFi Cody, I feel his pain for him. But all of the staking farms get hacked. Okay, not all of them, but they go down like dominoes, and lots and lots and lots of money gets taken. So I have to warn everybody, the lesson to learn from those things is if you're just looking for a little bit to earn here and there, don't bother with staking farms. Don't bother putting in your $500 just to earn $2 or $3 or $10. You may, on the calculator, it may look like a good rate of return instead of just sitting on your coins. But really, they're going to get hacked. Every week, a major finance staking farm, a pool of some sort, goes down in flames. And it's just not if, it's just when. It sucks. This next one's another good example of a great lesson learned, and it started out the very first project on the very first episode of Rugged, Ruined, and Wrecked. It was the the Bunny Finance project. Bunny Finance, I covered them, and they got wrecked. These prices in these old days here. These old days, this was August of last year. Might have been July, maybe the end of July. Anyway, Bunny Finance, they got smoked the first time they got hacked. $45 million. 45 million bucks taken out. Zoop, goodbye, Arungamundo. You got wrecked. See you later. You think they'd learn their lesson from that, right? Oh, no. You would be wrong. You would be wrong because Pancake Bunny 2 wrecked again. Oh, see, this one was July 18th, so obviously these I reviewed them in a while ago. But seriously, 45 million. This one I think was only 5 million or something like that. It was the same group, same devs, same everything. So the rule we've been talking about is once a project gets hacked, take your money, go to another one. Because if the guys couldn't figure it out the first time, unless they get a new dev team or some obviously new procedures or quality control, it's going to happen again. Then it did. It happened again. But that's not the end of the story. That's not by no means the end of the story. Another project called QBIT Finance. Guess who the founders and operators of QBIT Finance are? That's right, all the guys from Pancake Bunny. They got robbed, hacked on the BSC chain for 45 million, on the Poly chain for 2 to 5 million. I forget exactly what it was. And then just the other day, they get it on BSC for 80 million. $80 million of your money. Bye-bye. See you later. Hackamundo. It was the same team. And there's a whole story behind it about one of the team members being on the run criminal or something like that. I'm going to stay away from the gossip and all that and just give you the old lesson. The old lesson is this. Stay away from projects that get hacked because they're going to get hacked again. And when the team goes to a new project, they're going to bring that same knowledge of how to get hacked to the new project. I mean, come on, 45 million, then another 5, and then they go in for it for 80 million. It's almost like it was an inside job. And the leader of the whole thing, or one of the main guys, a known criminal, just stealing people's money. What are the odds it could be an inside job? What happens when you give millions and millions of dollars to people that are not part of a real company with real insurance and real KYC and all that type of stuff? You get wrecked. You just get wrecked. And so this is what we want to talk about and why all these cross-chain things keep getting hacked. The basic story of this, for everyone that doesn't understand cross-chains, is that you start out on one chain and you want to move your money to another. There are different contracts, there are different protocols. So what companies do, or people do, is they take a big pile of money, and they put it on this side, ready to give to people if they give them their money on this side. It's kind of like the old money transfer thing. You give your money to someone in Chicago, and then magically in Ottawa, money shows up. The money didn't go from one place to another. Someone just called and said, hey, we took in money on this one, take money out on that one. And then behind the scenes, they settle everything up. But if behind the scenes, it gets wrecked, like if the cash in transit truck going from point A to point B gets robbed, That's a problem. But those types of companies in modern days have insurance. These kind of companies do not have insurance. And if they get robbed or hacked, they just go, well, we'll learn and move on. Shouldn't be how it works. You shouldn't invest in that type of stuff. But we do because we try to move money from ETH to BSC. What happens is hackers go off here in the middle and try and figure out where there's a hole in the logic in the code. Because there's two places, two independent contracts have to go together. In the ETH side has to go together where they lock it. And then when they create and mint it on this side, the code has to be perfect over here too. Well, what happened is that the hackers on this one took advantage of the ETH they found a bug in which they didn't have to lock any ETH up. So basically they minted smart chain here without any collateral behind it, causing everything to fall apart. And that's what happens on all of these. Somewhere in the middle, it gets hacked. And no one's responsible for it. It's not like in the real world where the company says, well, we got robbed, but we have insurance, so it's fine. You just get your money back. Not in DeFi. Bye-bye. It's all gone. So be wary of these things. And if the general investor doesn't really have to worry about that, because if you've moved money from one place to the other, you're in and out and you're fine, you're done. But if you invest in a staking pool or a farming pool or another type of liquidity pool that provides the liquidity for these things, because remember that someone has to put their money in on one side, and then on the other side, they mint the tokens here. If you're investing in a project that invests in those liquidity pools, the safety of your money depends on the code right here on this bridge. And if the code sucks, your money is bye-bye, and you will be wrecked. So be wary of those, because just like the previous example with EARNHUB, everyone's getting wrecked. What else we got for us here? Don't know what's going on. I think we got one more for you here. Oh, what do I need to turn off? We got one more for you here, and it's a good one, because it's another big one. Not a big one like these $80 million pools that go away, but this is more of just a regular smart contract that went bye-bye. This one we got, Farm Finance. Farm Finance is creating a new game. Everyone's doing a new game. They have a new game. They're talking about a metaverse. If you heard me talk about games and metaverses, it takes a tremendous amount of money and time to make decent games. Not everyone's going to duplicate Minecraft, in which a kid programmed it in 2 or 3 weeks and it became the greatest, most profitable game in the history of games. And it's basically, at the time, was an 8-bit game. But Farm Finance says, we're going to do it. Yeah, they are going to do it. They are going to, as part of it, going to have their own blockchain mainnet live. Or they're going to be on whatever it is. They're going to have their own blockchain or be a piggybacked blockchain on someone else's. I didn't take time to look into it because I didn't need to, because I knew what was going to happen. So on the 28th, it comes around. Man, people are tweeting about this. This is a very good project. This project like this is very beautiful to me. I love it so much. Yeah. Top 10 gainers after they launch, they're already gaining. They're going crazy. And look at that. 2.5 million being raised on Pancake Swap. Pancake Bunny. It's just going well. It's going well right off the launch on day 1. Look at this chart. Launched on the 28th. That was time in Asia. For me, it was the 27th. So my graph says launched on the 27th. Just went up. A little bit of a sell-off here, but that's all right. Got 8. Just kept going up. Kept going up. Kept going up. Kept going up. People are like, this is a very nice project. Great potential. Hardworking team. A wonderful community. I'm sure this project will go far in the future. It will go far in the future. Hey, what's that? What's this right here? Right there. $86,000 all of a sudden out of the blue. What does that usually indicate? Hey, it's time for you to sell right away. If someone's dumping $86,000, what else are they going to dump? Everything. What happened? We were robbed. Please explain what happened. Let's go. Laughing. Rug pull. What can we do now? Cry. Now, game has been closed. Dead game. There was never going to be a game. Never going to be a game. So what happened here? This happened. Goodbye. Farm finance took all the money, dropped down. If you see, they added back 2 zeros there. It went down 100% or 1,000%, whatever. It went down 99.99%, just right to zero. Basically, the floor of what they could sell it for. You see down here, a couple of people, either bots or people, tried to FOMO in and get a rebound. That's not going to work. Kept going lower. Bad strategy, by the way, doing that. And so they got totally wrecked on that one. Scammed, Emerson says. We got scammed by farm finance today. Yep. Yeah, you did. But it should have been obvious for a couple of reasons. Well, before we go into that, look what the people took out of it. Million, almost a million, 500,000, another 500,000, 500,000, 500,000. You know, what's that? $6 million here or so? 7 million? And that's just the wallets that I got on this graphic. They just that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, and they did it the old-fashioned way. They just had a lot of tokens, and they just sold them. They didn't steal anything or steal the LP or anything like that. They just owned all the top wallets and basically did a self-rug pull. And that is one great lesson for you. If you're doing research on BSC scan, you want to look at the top holders, and you can kind of tell, can like 3 or 4 of the top holders get together and rug the whole project by selling more in value than is in the liquidity pool. So if the first 3 wallets, first 2, or first whatever it is, has more value in that than the liquidity pool, they can rug it. They can just sell and just send it to zero. That's not quite how it works. As they sell, it devalues, and it devalues more, and so it's kind of like an upside down bell curve. But still, that's a problem. That's a problem. That's a lot of money too. Farm Finance finally comes out and says, "Dear blank, we are very sorry for this to happen today. And the rest we spent on marketing and building the project, so that's all we have left. 152 BNB to divide up amongst the $7 million worth of people that lost money. This will be a good public Google form for everyone. I hope to solve this for everything." There was no solving it. They took your money and they left. I'm sure that one was the North Koreans or somebody like that. That was too good to be true. A classic example for everyone that went into it of not doing your own research. Some things to look at in that one is if you go to their website, some things didn't make sense. Some things didn't make sense, like their roadmap. They completed everything on their roadmap. Everything's checked off. Every quarter in the future, they've accomplished all their goals before they even got to them. And this is including the launch. The launch is over here somewhere. And all the future goals after the launch. They just launched, and they've already got everything all done. The roadmap is done. We've launched. Yeah, that would have generated some questions. And if you had gone and asked that in their Telegram, they probably would have banned you. So anyway, so who's their team? Apparently their team is cartoons. This is another problem with not doxing properly. And frankly, it's hard for people in North America to properly understand the docs for people that live in Asia. It's just difficult. There's culture differences. There's differences in how information is presented, never mind just languages. And it's different frankly, how people trust people. So anyway, we had just going to their website would have let you know there's some things wrong with this to be skeptical of. They couldn't have completed everything. They shouldn't have checked everything off. And everyone should not be cartoons on this. In a project of this size with millions of dollars, the people should be completely doxed. Not just sort of doxed or, hey, I might think there's a little security issue, so I'm not doxing. They should be completely doxed. Because it's likely these people were in a country in which if they came into sudden wealth, they would be targeted for that by the government. Their local government officials would want a piece of the pie. Their families would be subject to extortion. All this type of things. You have to be wary of what jurisdiction you're trading, that the people are responsible for the keys that your contract are in. Because everyone has a reason for being secret. And maybe because they want to steal a couple $1 million here stuff. But it may be because they want to stay quiet from the government. And then steal your money anyway. Anyway, this is a terrible, terrible thing for all the investors because typically of the people in Asia, there's many, many, many very small investors. And it's not just because they wanted to put a small amount, is that the $10 or $20 is all they had, and they're hoping to make it 500 or $1,000, which would have changed their life a lot on a month-to-month basis, and they got scammed. Good lessons for everybody today about doxing, about staking pools and farms and all that, and about if one team blows it, make sure that they bring in additional people or additional processes, like DYOR did when we tanked our launch. We went through an internal review and put additional processes in place to make sure it didn't happen again. But with millions, 80 millions of dollars, 85 million, 40 million, whatever it was, and there's a problem with the team there, and your money goes missing, that's a different story. Stay away from them. And that's all I have for you today on Rugged, Ruined, and Rekt. And hopefully, all of you will be around in the future for the next episode of this great program, because I love it so much, and I love bringing it to you. So hopefully, you will go back and watch the whole playlist that we'll put down in the links down here, because this is now the 10th or 11th episode or something like that in total. Anyway, thank you for watching.